So had a little bit of technical difficulties, so I had to restart Instagram because Instagram wanted to be a butt and didn't want to work. So let me just recap real quick. I'm Lana. Hi. This is episode 57. Episode 57 of Pure Sessions. There we go. Oh, that rhymed. That was cute. But yes, so you can find me on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, SoundCloud, Anchor, Beatport. I also make music. I'm also a DJ. I have an album coming out this month, so stay tuned for that. It's titled Reflections. So I think you guys are going to really like this. It's a different vibe I'm going with. It's a lot of personal things, a lot of love things, a lot of decisions and stuff like that. Kind of a lot of heart and soul went into this project, and I had a lot of people help me with it. So I definitely really appreciate everybody. And yeah, so Pure Sessions airs weekly, every week on here, Instagram live on Lana and Pure, and YouTube live at Lana and Pure. And if you just want the audio, if you're on the run, if you're on the go, if you're jogging, sipping some wine, just chilling, whatever you want to do, babysitting, washing clothes, you can catch the audio, schmaudio on Apple, Spotify, what else? Beaker, Pocket Tune, any social media platform that streams podcasts. You can find me on there. What else? So I mentioned before that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, that I was told by my friends. I didn't know. I mean, I knew of it. I didn't know it was this month because, we kind of focus strictly on Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as we should. But I feel like, and my friend was telling me this, she says that Domestic Violence Awareness Month isn't as spotlighted on as much as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And not just say about those two things. I just feel like in general, when people kind of try to combine 4 or 5 different things in a month or a day, I don't really understand it. Like, what was it? Monday, they combined Indigenous People Day with Columbus Day. I don't really understand, like, how, like, that's a whole nother topic. I don't understand, how do you have Columbus Day mixed with Indigenous People Day? The man who claims that he found America first when the Indians and Native Americans were already here. I'm highly confused, but I'm not here to talk about that. That's a whole nother topic, and the day already passed. But I respect that, and I respect the other side. I just think when people try to combine a bazillion things at once, it kind of looks a little tacky, in my opinion. What else? My previous EP is out, Parallel. You can definitely catch that on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, SoundCloud. That was kind of like my last project I did in the summer, my summer vibe type of thing. Because as a DJ or as a music producer, I like to dabble into different aspects and genres as much as I can, since I'm kind of like doing it myself, like doing everything myself, creating the music, mastering it, engineering it, producing all that fun stuff. So I like to try different things. So with the last project I did, it was more so of like a Ibiza, Coachella type of vibe, type of music, where you're just dancing and having fun and just vibing out and just imagining, you're like on the islands and stuff like that. So that's kind of the vibe I did with that. It's a small album. I try not to make my albums like 40 songs because who has time for all that, right? So I try to make it kind of like to the point. So with this project, Reflections, this project has been like my baby for a long time, and I've kind of worked with different people and kind of did different things, but I think you guys are really, truly, schmooly going to enjoy this project because I had fun making it. It was fun. I love creating an experience for people to just enjoy life and dance to and things like that. So that's with that. So it's episode 57, Pure Sessions. I'm Lana. We air every week, as I said, just to recap. So I have a special guest coming on. We were on before, but we just had some technical difficulties, so it kind of had to and go back. So before she comes on, I just want to say, I mentioned before in the other episode, 3 books. 3 books. The first book I mentioned, if you're dealing with things, if you're feeling emotions or emotional, if you have things to say, if you're like me, who's not a person who's kind of like gonna just spill all their guts, and they kind of are like people watcher, energy person, vibe person. You're kind of like reserved, like how I am, more of a introvert than an extrovert. I know for me, writing things down, my whole life mostly, writing things down is very helpful because it kind of gets out what I'm trying to say that I can't portray to people because I don't know how to like format the words. So trust your journey. Recommend getting this. It's like $10-15 at Staples, you know. Definitely recommend doing that. And I mentioned this book on here a lot of times on the show. The Daily Dose, 365 Days to a Healthy Soul, by Lena Abujamari. And like I mentioned before, it's different Bible verses, it's different days, it has different titles, like For Us, Soul Health, Divine Perspective, Satisfied, Stay the Course. And I haven't been reading it every day as I should, but I do recommend reading this. And there's different ones. I kind of just picked this one because I know everybody in the grandma has the daily word, you know, the brown small book that's in your grandma's bathroom, you know, that you read. So I thought this was different because I feel, and I mentioned before, I feel like this book kind of just hits my soul a little bit differently than the previous daily words I've read. So I do like this. And each day kind of sets the mood for me. So that's why I highly recommend reading it in the morning. But if you are busy and you're on the go, you can read it any time of day. But I know for me, I start my morning with this. Okay. And the third book I mentioned was Let's Talk Italian, 1001 Real Life Phrases and Idioms, the way people really speak. I bought this like a month ago from Barnes & Nobles for like $5. And I'm only on page 1. And it's mostly just really dives deeper in, I think, than other learning language books I've read of, you know, they have wine and dining section, they have numbers, they have travel, they have starting a conversation, what else? Going out, different things. So I feel like this is really, really in depth on learning. And here we go. This book includes greetings and pleasantries, days, weeks, and telling time, whining and dining, shopping, travel and transportation, medical health and emergencies, entertainment, pickup lines, and more. So I definitely recommend. They have different languages for this book. They have Italian, Spanish, French, Mandarin, Chinese, whatever, all the languages you want to do. And it was cheap. It was really, like I said, only, $4? It was really cheap. So those are my 3 books. Let's Talk Italian, Daily Words, and Writing Down Your Feelings and Thoughts in your journey. And things like I feel like for me, because I'm waiting for Stephanie to come back on, because like I said, we had some technical difficulties. I don't know why Instagram wants to be like that. Usually when I have the guests on, because I always have guests on virtually, it usually works, but I guess today wants to be a butt. So until she comes back on, how's everybody doing? How's your week? Did you eat? Did you read anything new? Did you write anything down? Did you try anything different? I know for me, well, that's a surprise for a later date, so I'll mention that later. But I know for me, I have tried a couple new things this week, whether it be mentally new things, spiritually new things. I have been trying to get into crystals. I know a couple people who kind of like live and love their crystals, so I kind of been trying to get into that aspect. As well as been trying to read more. I have bought various books that I can't reach right now, but I have bought various books that are not just like, you know, these small little ones, but kind of like in-depth ones, whether they're like thrillers or on social justice or things like that. So that's something new I've done this week. What else? The weather this week and last has kind of been kind of blah. So I don't know if you're like me, but I do like this autumn type of weather, but not when it's like gray out and foggy and smoggy and all the other stuff. But I have been wanting to travel to different cities in Jersey. I think that's a fun thing to do, to kind of like step out of your comfort zone in a way and kind of like see what else is out there, because I love driving. I'm a fan of driving, not like for 100 hours, but I do like driving. So for me, saying, hey, let's just go take this trip to like Atlantic City or like Jersey City or whatever, I'm down with it because it's something different, something new. Granted, I wouldn't recommend those places during traffic hours, which is like, 3 to 7 now, but I do like trying new things. And that's why in the beginning, when I first started doing my music, I always wanted to say that I wanted to like create an experience, or like create a new experience for people, because I feel like when you're like giving something, whether it be music, spoken word, poetry, what else, your talent, whatever you want to call it, that you're giving to somebody to listen to or feel or vibe out to, I feel like that's the best thing you can give them, is a new experience every time they hear your craft or hear your creativity or hear, what you have to say. Like for music, like for me, like in the beginning, I was new to creating my own music and trying to put everything together. So how I would do it, and people will always say it was like a variation of songs in a song. Like, how you can hear a song and it's just like one type of genre in that song. You know what I mean? For me, because I think I was trying to try so many things at once in this 2-3 minute song. For me, people would say it's like 4 or 5 different genres in the song. So like the beginning of the song would be, say, like dance or trance or something like that. And then by like the 8th bar or so, it would switch to like R&B type of vibe background. And then towards the end, I would always in the beginning be obsessed with ending it with like a piano riff. I don't know why. I just was like obsessed with the piano riffs, because I think it's just so pretty to just end a song or start a song or what have you with the piano riff. It's a beautiful instrument. And for me, since it was hard for me growing up to play instruments because I wasn't able to read music. Now I can, because I taught myself. But now I wasn't able then. I always fell in love with the piano, because I feel like no matter what piece was happening, if you just had a piano in there, either in the beginning or the end or the middle or wherever, the song would just sound amazing. So I would be obsessed with having piano riffs. And as time went on, I kind of like try to add it in the beginning to start out, and then kind of like build up and then carry itself back down. And then I got obsessed with like guitars, and then I got obsessed with like records spinning, like that vinyl record sound, that crackling sound. So I kind of like dabbled into different things, but I think I finally found my niche after this year, because before I was making the music myself, I was just DJing, playing music. And I was like, hey, let me try doing this. This looks like fun. And then COVID hit. So I had all the time in the world to just, like with anything, practice honing in on the craft, practicing on getting better at what I love to do. And that's the beauty, I think, of it, is when you're doing something that you genuinely love doing. And I mentioned this before on the show, that's effortless, because then it doesn't seem like it's a job. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like what you're doing is so time consuming. Like, I know for me, when I was back in retail, certain jobs, certain things that I would do, I would know that this would not be what I wanted to do, but I did it because, I got to eat. And when I started doing music, focusing on that, more oftentimes than not, I just fell in love with it. And that's why it would take me no time at all to make a song. It would take me no time at all to create an album, because it would just be so much fun, because I didn't know I had so many ideas flowing in my head about music. For somebody who couldn't read music, it was just all these different ideas. And I think that's a great thing when you get to the point where you know that, hey, this is my thing that I love to do. This is my thing that is, that brings me joy. And why not bring joy to other people? You know what I mean? Like, why not do something that can make or put a smile on somebody's face, whether, like I said, be you singing, rapping, spoken word, poetry, or just playing instruments. That's a beautiful thing. Like recently I started, not recently, maybe like 2-3 months maybe, started moving from the trumpet and moving to my saxophone that I have over there. And it's so fun, because I never thought that I would play that type of instrument before, because like I said, I was always obsessed with the piano. But the saxophone, man, I gotta tell you, it's such a sassy, sexy instrument. And I have an alto sax. And I don't know, something about it is just so, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain. And that was actually the instrument that I taught myself how to read music on. And surprisingly, it was not as hard as I thought it would be. I felt that if I didn't learn how to read any notes, I couldn't really like perform. And the beauty about me wanting to learn how to play the sax was I wanted to incorporate some of the sax into my music, because a lot of my music is instrumental. And I think adding different instruments on top of instruments, such a beautiful thing, So that was really like the reason behind why I wanted to do that. And it's fun. That's my thing. Throughout COVID, outside of COVID, but us being in quarantine, us being home, and us being able to not do so much in the beginning really gave me, and I am sure you guys as well, ample time to kind of like focus on the craft and focus on what we love to do, which is music, which is writing, which is reading, which is exercising more, whatever the case may be. I feel like if you put the enough amount of time into doing something that you say you love and that you say you want to get better at, I think the rewards would be fruitful, because I feel like if you're one of those people who kind of like build all this hype around wanting to be better at something, wanting to change something, and then you're in the beginning you're so headstrong and full force on it that you're just, oh my god, this is all I do, and then let's say like a month or two down the line you kind of like fading because it's not like, it's too much work. And I feel like sometimes we get comfortable in that aspect, as to not say giving up. I don't like using that word because things happen that makes us not be able to continue doing things, but you put on hold for a while, and then that hold for a while turns into 2 months, and then 2 months turns into 6 months, and then 6 months turns into a year, and then you're like, what was I doing again? I feel like if you do a little bit at a time, a little bit here and there, a little bit there and here, I feel like it kind of all comes together versus you doing everything full strong in the beginning and then dying out at the end. You know what I mean? Like, if you do a little bit of nuggets every now and then, I always like using that word, little nuggets, every now and then, it kind of will balance itself out at the end, if that makes sense. So that's just my 2 cents. And I don't think Stephanie is able to come on because she was telling me that she was having technical difficulties. She was on before for like maybe 2 minutes, and then the Wi-Fi went out, so I don't think she is coming on. So that's all right. I haven't been doing, like I said, I haven't been on one myself in a very long time, so it's nice to kind of just regroup, regroup and kind of like talk about what's been going on. But like I mentioned before, definitely check out these books. I highly recommend it, because for me, this is recent, but these two books I've been living off of since COVID. I got this in the beginning of COVID, and I'm on page, from the beginning, maybe middle-ish of COVID, page 276 or day 276. So once that's done, I'll get another one. And I've been having this or multiple ones of these for months and months and months and months, because going through the beginning of COVID, going through not knowing what it was, going through having to be home, going through just basically your whole life being turned upside down, this was my outlet, writing things down, saying how I felt, deciding what to do with life and things like that. And I still haven't decided what I want to do with my life. I don't think really any of us really know. I mean, some of us do, but I don't really think any of us know really what we want to do with our life, because so many different avenues get thrown at us, so many different venues get thrown at us that we don't really know how to deal with it. And that's what I mentioned before. It's so good to have a community that you can talk to, right? It's so good to have that outlet of people, friends, mentors, colleagues, family members, family friends, whatever you want to call it, church, whatever, priest, confessional, whatever you want to call it, that you have in your corner to either help you deal with things, help you think about things, back things up, or whatnot. And for me, what also helped during COVID was Bible study. It was a sister girl group Bible study, only females girl Bible study, that we did every Wednesday for like almost a year, until we kind of had to do other things. And that really helped, having that community to talk to once a week. And currently now I'm in Sister Girl Talk with my girl 𝗍𝑒, Woman of Reflections. Definitely check her out. She has her own podcast. She's a female entrepreneur. She has 3 kids. She just does it all. She's amazing. So I definitely would highly recommend checking her out, Woman of Reflections, 𝗍𝑒. And her Sister Girl Talk is every other Wednesday on Zoom. So definitely you can check my page for more information about that. But I also want to talk about understanding one's own, I don't want to say understanding one's own self-worth, because that's kind of like a tricky thing. But I feel understanding your worth, we'll rephrase it a little bit, because I feel like so much pressure is put on when you talk about that. So I want to say understanding your own worth. And a lot of people feel like they kind of combine self-worth with, or having self-worth, self-love with cockiness. It's really not. It's really more so having the confidence and self-love for oneself, that you can portray this confidence onto other people, or you can portray this confidence in your aura. A lot of times people kind of confuse cockiness with confidence, and it's really not. I mean, there are people I know who kind of are both and who are one or the other, but I feel like some people kind of get iffy when they see you doing better than them, or when they see you growing from where you were once, or when they see you doing the things that they wish that they could do but can't or won't or don't. And I feel like for me, for somebody who is kind of like laid back and reserved and introvert and all the other fun stuff, having or portraying that self-worth, that self-love, it took a longer time than it needed to, let me tell you, but it was a different road for me to take than most, because I'm not one of those people who's like wanting to show every aspect of my life. I'm one of those people who kind of, like I said, post when I want, show when I want, talk about when I want, but not to the point where like you're seeing everything in the journey. But it's more so, let me show you at my worst versus let me just show you at my best. You know what I mean? Like, let me show you my flaws and outlooks and bad scars and things like that, versus let me just show you all the good and all the extra stuff. Nothing wrong with just showing the good, but I feel like when we show the real person, the real you, the truer self of you, a lot of people don't know how to handle that, so they kind of look at you differently and say, oh, you're so cocky now, oh, you're brand new, that's the famous line, oh, you're acting brand new. I think it's not it's more so not being brand new. I think it's finally finding that confidence that you were looking for, and I think you got there faster than they would have wanted. Because I've realized a lot of people don't want you to succeed. They say they do, but a lot of people subconsciously or unsubconsciously, or whatever you want to call it, don't want you to succeed, because they want to keep you in that bubble where they are, because they feel like if they're not succeeding, or they aren't above you or above whoever, that they're not doing great. They're failing. So they want to portray that energy and that aura onto you, which I think is stupid in my opinion, just to be frank. I don't mean to be that blunt, but I feel like the energy, when you're sucking somebody's energy who's wholesome and who's sweet, and who just has all this self-love in the world, it's exhausting, because you're draining the other person. And I feel like that really ties into, as I mentioned a couple episodes before, that really ties into surrounding yourself with the right people, right? The right energy, the right aura. Not just throwing yourself around people just for the sake of being around people so you're not by yourself, but being around like-minded people who want to build you up and build themselves up as well. I think when we're around people who kind of just are in not a rut, because everybody goes through a rut, so let me rephrase that. You're building yourself around people who kind of just want to stay here, which is stagnant. That's okay if you want to be stagnant. It honestly is, because everybody wants to be comfortable. But if you're one of those people who wants to do better and get better and move forward from where they were 2 minutes ago, then I think surrounding yourself with people who are comfortable with where they are is a good look to a point, is comfortable to a point, but after a while, I think it gets tedious, because you're kind of just like here. There's no this, you know what I mean? So I feel like, for me, I'm one of those people who are like, all right, let me do my thing over here. Let me focus on this. Let me strive with this and be better at this for me, not to be better at all these things for other people, or to get more likes or more tweets or more followers or more whatever you want to call it, because all that's inevitable will happen eventually. More so, I think, because the thing is, this. There's no way in the world that 12,000 people. Let's say you have 12. So let's say your goal is 12K followers. There's no way that you know that many people. It can't, unless you're some celebrity or you're some whatever. But I've talked to different people who have different platforms and talk about different things, and their goals for social media are different things. Because there's always a goal for social media. Like, you either want more followers, more likes, to boost your page, boost your business, whatever you want to call it. But if you're just strictly just looking to get more likes on a picture, or just to get more followers, just to say you have followers, what really is the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you about like social media in the aspect of having the best of the best, or are you about social media in the aspect that you want to build something? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to build your brand. Let's say you're a musician, you want to build your music. Let's say you're a graphic designer, you want to build your business. Let's say you're a blogger. How do you go about doing that? What do you post? What do you talk about? Who do you connect with? There's different ways to get to what you want, but if you're just strictly just doing these things just to get, like I said, 12,000 followers and 125 likes, or whatever you want to call it, then what's really the point? You know what I mean? And that ties into circling yourself around, being around like-minded people who want to do something different. Because anybody can just be on social media, right? But it's really the drive and the motivation and the determination that you have with having these different platforms that you want to grow on it. Because what you portray on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or what's the other one? TikTok, is what people will see you as. Because once you post it, it's there. So what is it that you want people to see when they look at your page? When your name pops up, or your story pops up, or a post pops up, or whatever, when they see your name or your Instagram handle, do you want them to be like, oh, here she goes again posting whatever, or here he goes again posting that nonsense? Or do you want your post and your stories and your name or whatever to pop up? When it pops up, they're saying, oh, what does she have to say? Or, oh, what does he have to say? Or what are they talking about? Let me check in their live. Let me follow them because they do good content, or they show good things. It's like, really, you're like essentially like branding your name without having to brand your name. You know what I mean? Like, because I know there are certain people and accounts on different platforms that I see that I'm like, ugh, here they go again with the drama. Or, ugh, what are they posting now? They're half naked. Or, ugh, what are they saying now? It's just nonsense. So you just keep scrolling. So you're doing yourself more harm than good, if that makes sense, without even realizing it, because people are watching you, whether, in a creepy way, whether you know it or not. And what you put out on the internet, what you put out on your page or your story or whatever platform is you. You're branding yourself. You're showing the world, essentially, what else my train of thought, what you are about. So if you're about let's say blogging, and you want to do like daily quotes, daily affirmations every day, okay, so when your name posts or your name pops up or your story pops up, they'll be like, oh yeah, Sally posts about this on a daily, let's go check out this because I need that. Her quotes make me whole, her quotes make me better, her quotes give me life. You know what I mean? Like, her quotes make me feel like I'm not the only one going through these things. Or let's say you're an artist or you're a rapper, and your name and your story and your stuff pops up, and people say, oh, let's say his handle is at Thai dollar quarter, whatever your rap name is. I couldn't think of one, but whatever your rap name is, and we see your name pop up, and we'll be like, oh, what's his new song that he has out? Or, oh, he's doing a freestyle, let me go check that out. Or, oh, he has a new album, let me go cop that. Like, what is it that you're like what is it you want people to see when they see your name pop up? Do you want it to be the good feedback, the good energy? Because once they do that, the next person sees it, and the next person sees it, and so on and so forth. So it's like a train effect, a good train effect. It can be a good train effect, or it could be a train wreck. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what is it? Once you put yourself out there, and once you post whatever you post about, then what is it that you want people to take away from your post? Because once you post it, it's there. Once you do a live, it's there. Once you do a story, it's there. After they read or watch or listen to your stuff, what is it that you want them to take away from what you're saying? Because you're speaking on something that either A, beneficial to you, helping your brand, helping you grow. B, you have something to say that you want people to listen to. C, you're sharing something that's important to you that you hope people will also like and love and show, so on and so forth. Or D, you're posting it for somebody else because maybe they're going through something that they're too shy or afraid to talk about. So maybe seeing your post or your story or your live or your quote helps their day, changes their mind, changes their life. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. People say knowledge is power. Yes. So, and words are powerful as well, too. I mean, somebody can read one sentence of a quote or one line of a comment, and it can change your perspective on everything, or it can change how they're feeling. It can change your emotions. It could change your thinking. It can change how they view you because you're posting that content, and people who are commenting on it or what you're drawing in, or it could be, wow, they're really saying these things that are hitting home, or wow, somebody else is actually going through this as well. I'm not alone, because oftentimes we want to say these things that we're seeing other people post about that hits home. You know, we want to talk about these things that we're seeing other people post that it's like, wow, I'm going through the same thing. But oftentimes we feel like our voice is silenced, that we can't say these things without, like I said, offending somebody, or being afraid of not getting a lot of likes, or being afraid of it just hitting the wrong nerves. You know what I mean? So like if you get like 2 likes on a quote that's talking about, say, domestic violence, or say a quote from the Bible or something like that, a scripture from the Bible, or something like that, and you get 4 or 5 likes, that's okay. 4 or 5 people saw your post, and 4 or 5 people will leave your page rethinking some things. You don't need 500 likes to really get the point across, if that makes sense. Because yes, you might get a lot of the likes, and you might get a lot of people looking at your page, but are they really, really absorbing it? Like if you have 5 or 6 likes, you know, okay, these 5 or 6 people are actually really feeling what I'm saying and really understanding what I'm saying. Cool. But if you have like 600 likes, are people really, really getting what you're saying? And again, there's nothing wrong with having that many people liking your stuff, because that's good publicity. But you have to really stop and think, are all these people really reading what I wrote, or really listening to what I said, or really watching what I'm doing? Or are they just liking it as they're scrolling through, just to be like, I'm scrolling through? That's the thing you got to really think about. My opinion, just my opinion, I would take 5 to 10 likes over 7,000 likes, depending on the quote, depending on the video, depending on the live, depending on what you're talking about. Obviously, if you're talking about something that has some substance, you want more people to like it, because it crosses more, what do you call it? I don't want to say more minds, more pages. There we go. But if it's something that's small, something that's like precious to you, something that's like, I don't want to say secure, cozy, the 5 to 10 people, that kind of hits home. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I kind of went on a rant about posts and likes and followers and following, but I think oftentimes we get so, and I've used this word before, we get so focused on the minutiae of it all, the hullabaloo, the smorgasbord, if you will, of kind of trying to do so much for so many people that we don't know, if that makes sense. Like I said, there's no way in hell that you know 15,000 people, unless you're somebody big. Now, you could be somebody regular schmegler and know those people. I commend you. I need to know your secret. But if your goal, like I said earlier, is only to just get 15,000 likes, and just that's the basis of your story, okay. But what are you going to do with those 15,000 likes? Because if you're not putting out the content that's drawing these people, those likes and those followers and those comments and things like that would just disappear, because you're not following suit with everything. Because if 15,000 people are following you, there's a reason for that. You're either, there's various reasons, not just a reason, there's various reasons. You could be a singer, you could be a celebrity, a musician, an artist, a chef. There's a slew of things you could be doing. But what will people look at or take away from following you, from seeing your content, from seeing your posts. Because if it's just, not to be blunt, but just dumb posts that have no meaning or substance to anything, that's cute, okay. But if you are about something that's like building your brand, building your business, trying to grow, trying to strive, okay, what is it that you're doing that will keep their interest? Because people's attention spans are as big as a nano net, and it's not going to stay long if you're just either A, posting the same thing, B, not posting enough, C, kind of just not really saying much of anything. And I feel like once we find like our niche, once we find like what we want to talk about, what we want to discuss, I feel like the followers and the likes and the posts and the retweets and the whatever you want to call it will come eventually. I think once we kind of like peel back and stop just focusing on why do I have many followers of this person? Why do they have 500 likes in the same photo that I post and I only have 25 likes? Once we kind of take away that aspect of thinking and kind of focus on, okay, this person who's doing the same thing I'm doing, whether it's graphic designer, a chef, an artist, a blogger, whatever you want to call it, if I'm posting the same thing they're posting or the same type of photo or video or post that they're posting, why do they have 500 likes and why do I have 25? What do I need to change or not change, alter to get to that aspect? Because there's a way to do everything, and social media is very cutthroat. And I feel like once you step away from just thinking, okay, these are the things I'm going to do to get more likes and followers, and just instead of posting your brand, your business, your creative outlet, I think you'll be a little bit more happy, a little more satisfied with your finished content, if that makes sense. So hopefully, outside of my rant, you guys get what I mean, because I just wanted to. Originally, I was going to have a special guest on here, Stephanie, but I think the connection was bad, and I don't think she was able to get back on. So it's all right. Next time we'll do. She owes me a rain check. But today I was able to talk about things that have been on my mind, that things that need to be addressed, and just try to give you guys a perspective on feeling okay about not having 500 likes or 15,000 followers, but being okay with yourself, loving yourself, being okay with your skin that you're in, and knowing eventually that what will happen, and focusing on building your brand, building your craft, growing and not staying stagnant. I think those are like the 5 things that I wanted you guys to take away from this episode. That kind of went from one aspect to the next. So growing your brand, being okay with the skin you're in, loving yourself, not being stagnant, and not focusing on the small things when it comes to social media, because social media is a jungle. And if you just only focus on the why nots and why can't I, or why don't I, or why does she have more, or why does he have more, why do I still have the same flow of activity, for this long, versus why am I not where I should be, where everybody else is, I think it hinders you from being the best you can, because you're so focused on just posting the right stuff to get the specific response, versus posting the things that you're passionate about, that you want to talk about, that builds you up and builds your brand and builds your character up, and then worrying about the likes and comments and followers later. I think once you kind of flip the switch, thinking about that or going about it that way, I think it kind of will flow a little better, and I think you'll be happier with the results, versus always wondering why, or what am I doing wrong? Is it me? Do they not like me? Do I not have as many friends as I thought I did? Do I not have people who really want to care about me? Do they really just say what they mean and not really do what they say? You know what I mean? So I feel, hopefully you guys can take a little bit of my little nuggets from me and kind of think about it for this week, and kind of give you guys a little homework. Think about it for this week and kind of just really grasp on what you want to say and what's important to you. And always putting your self-love and your self-happiness and your mental health first, right? All right. So thank you for my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Ooh, TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate it. Yes, jazz hands. So, yeah, guys, I think that about wraps it up. I don't think, like I said earlier, Stephanie is coming on because I think her internet is off. But you guys can definitely follow her. Let me just pop up this thing at ABSALOMX Absalom Art. And we'll do a part 2 of having her on next time, so you guys will see her. We'll get to talk with her, and things like that next time. But yeah, guys, that about wraps it up. So just to recap, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as well as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, all of October. So we're blue, not blue, rephrase that. We're purple, we're pink. And I just want to say I will be talking more about that with some guests I have in the next coming weeks, definitely before the month is over, on breast cancer, on different types of cancer, as well as domestic violence, and as well as the different victims, as well as male and female, because it is unfortunately real in here, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it's a tough topic. But I feel like once we have these conversations, it kind of opens different doors for different things and different people to feel more comfortable with wanting to talk about that. So to anybody who is dealing with domestic violence, whether it's yourself, whether you were in it, whether you know somebody who's in it or whatnot, male or female, my heart goes out to you, and we are here for you. As well as anybody who has breast cancer or different variations of cancer, my heart goes out to you as well. You were in my thoughts and prayers. Yes. But yeah, guys, what else do I need to say? Oh, my album, which I am excited about, Reflections, comes out at the end of this month, so definitely stay tuned for that. And I said earlier, people were asking, was it a Halloween album? No, it's just coming out on Halloween. It's more of it's hard to explain because I don't want to give out too many nuggets now, but when you listen to it, you'll understand why I picked Reflections. And I have a lot of cute little nuggets and projects coming out before that too, that kind of tie into that, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm Lana, and it's Spirit Sessions, and you can catch me every week on Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, and Beatport, because my music is on Beatport. You can also find me at Lana and Pure. For the live videos of Pure Sessions, it's on Instagram and YouTube at Lana and Pure, and for the audio versions on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and all that fun jazz. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys listening and vibing out, rocking out, and tuning in. And Stephanie, hopefully we can do part 2 soon. Let me know, girl. But yeah, guys, that's about it. And I hope you guys have a great week. I appreciate you guys who rock with me, whether you're listening in the audio or you're watching the lives. I know I don't do too many lives of the show. I kind of do like a little bit of snippet here and there, because I also have another page, Lana and Pure's Corner, so I try to put some on there as well. But this will be posted right now, so you'll be able to hear everything I say versus just like a little bit of snippets. So yeah, I appreciate you guys, definitely wholeheartedly, and I hope you guys have a safe week, and a safe Wednesday, and do something today that you didn't do the day before, and have a great day. Peace.